And again, good morning. Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we believe that nothing happens by chance, that everything is by divine appointment. So I want to say to our viewing audience, if you're tuning in at this moment, this message is for you. And as we open the space in our community and we feel that resonance and the energy, there is a spirit of joy in this room. In this very room, there is quite enough joy, and I love when Fleet sings that every Sunday morning. In this very room, there is quite enough love, quite enough peace, and quite enough joy. Meister Eckhart from the 5th century said, joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. Joy. And what I know my barometer is, when I am in an ego state, I am not experiencing joy. So when I check in to my own inner beingness, I know that I either enjoy, and we know there's only two things in the universe, love and fear is of the ego. So if we're not in joy and that spirit of love, we're in ego. We're looking outside of ourselves for the answers, hoping something's going to show up, giving our power away to the things in the outer world. And out there is not the real world, because I hear you say, well, in the real world, this is how it is. No, it isn't. The real world is within us. And we live and move and have our being in the real world that is within us. The relative world is the outer world of appearances that show up, that we give our power away, conditions that show up, effects that show up. That's the relative world. It's shifting and changing all the time. The real world is the eternal world within us that is deathless, timeless, and changeless. So when I am in joy, and that's the wonder of the inner child, that we all have that place in us that has never been touched by grief. It has never given offense or taken offense. It is the place of spirit that is within us. It is the place of joy. I love this story about the taxi cab driver who was in New York, and some car just suddenly just came out of nowhere, cut him off. He had to go to the side of the curb, and then the driver, gave the taxi cab driver the half peace sign, like it's his fault, right? You can visualize that. And the taxi cab driver just waved and said, okay, have a great day. And the passenger, he was a businessman, he said, I couldn't believe it. I said, he just cut you off. He came within inches of sending us to the hospital. You're waving and smiling. How do you do that? And he said, I call it the law of the garbage truck. I go, excuse me? Yes, the law of the garbage truck. The garbage truck, it just gets in all this garbage, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Pretty soon, it's got to dump it. Got to dump it somewhere. So this guy obviously had to dump it on me, but I'm not taking it personally. I'm not giving my power away to something outside of me, in other words. So I just wave and just wish them well, and hopefully that I don't dump any of that garbage on any person, place, or thing. So when we look at the law of the garbage truck, we take our experiences and assimilate them. And as we assimilate our experiences, we don't take them personally, because it is never, ever personal. Joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. Joy. And when we're in joy, then we draw that larger circle. Remember, he drew a circle that shut me out. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. And when we take in people, places, and things that occur, we are so empowered. This is a teaching of empowerment. Jesus, who became the Christ, said, the works that I do, ye shall do also, and even greater works ye shall do than I do. Don't worship me. I'm not the great exception. I'm just an example of what you can do. And the works that I do, ye shall do also, and even greater works ye shall do than I do. And I love that empowerment. That each and every one of us, as our humanness gives way to the divine, the Christ consciousness arises triumphant and victorious, and does not take on the stuff of the outer world, realizing that I can release that. I can smile through it. I love when Mother Teresa said, peace begins with a smile. And when we see someone who doesn't have a smile, I saw a man today who didn't have a smile, so I gave him one of mine. Okay, I can do that. And when we realize in that revelation that our daily life is our temple and our religion, and that we just keep opening a wider space and walking through that portal of light and realizing we are the beneficiaries. And when we get that, we are the beneficiaries of the very goodness and the love that we put out into the universe, our world expands. There's a story about two patients that were in the hospital, and they were very seriously ill. And every day at 4 o'clock, the one patient would say to the other who was against the wall, and he was against a window, and it had really pretty drapes. And every day he would describe how beautiful, looking out the window, there was a lake, there were little ducklings, there were swans, there were couples that were arm in arm, walking beyond the energy of the grasses and the trees and the flowers. And he would share, and the colors of the flowers, they're varied and beautiful. I can almost smell the fragrance. And so every day at 4 o'clock, the patient by the window would describe the beauty that he saw. And of course, the other gentleman was so looking forward to hearing what he was seeing as he peered out the window. And then one morning the nurse came in, and the patient that had been next to the window, the gentleman, had passed away. And so they got him out of the room and did all the necessary preparations, and the other gentleman waited, which he felt was a good amount of time, before he requested that he be placed in the bed next to the window. And so the nurse said, of course we could do that, and they made the necessary changes, and they got him all set up in that bed next to the window. And as he asked the nurse to open up the curtains, it was just a blank wall. He said, how can this be? He said, my partner in the other bed, he always described the beauty of the day and in great detail, and the flowers and the energy of the lake and the swans swimming and the ducklings running along. How can this be? And the nurse said, oh, well, he was blind. He shared with you what he saw in his mind's eye to encourage you. And look, you're still here. He's moved off the planet. He's in a heavenly realm. And he did that for you, so that you would feel the joy of what he was seeing in his mind's eye. Give that you may receive, that your joy may be full. And when we give from that place within us, give so that we can what? Create the space to receive. That our joy may be full. And when we're asked to make a joyful noise, it's the laughter. It's the energy that raises the vibrational frequency that allows us to be all that we can be. Give, that you may receive, that your joy may be full, because we are never, ever going to outgive God. One of my favorite stories is about the man who made his transition. He was at the pearly gates, and there was St. Peter, and St. Peter said, all right, well, the Father is going to want to know what good works you did. And he thought for a moment, and he thought for another moment, and he thought for another moment. He goes, well, I gave $1 to a Boy Scout once. He said, oh, okay. And he's writing, and he goes, anything else? He goes, thinking, well, I gave $1 to a Boy Scout once. He goes, okay, well, you know, the Father's going to want a little more than that. And he became agitated. He said, look, I gave $1 to a Boy Scout once. So St. Peter goes through the golden door, and he meets God, the Father. And he said, you know, the gentleman, very wealthy, multimillionaire at the door, wants in. He said, well, tell me his good works. And he said, well, he said he gave $1 to a Boy Scout once. God looked at him and said, give him back his $1 and tell him to go to hell. that doesn't make a difference, right? And of course, in our way of life, heaven and hell are not geographical locations. What are they? They are states of consciousness. And that when we realize that they are in states of consciousness, that we create our own heaven and we create our own hell. And hell is the negativity. It's being bogged down with the energy of shame and guilt and regret and all of those negative emotions. Heaven is releasing all of that and realizing that the highest state of heaven is to feel the joy of life. And when we feel the joy of life, there is something that is transmuted within us so that the ordinary experiences are transformed into celebrations of life and love. Ride the carousel, reach for the golden ring, never to finish, only to begin again. Life is a circular thing. And the circle of life is ever expanding. Emerson said it beautifully. You know, when you toss that pebble into the pond, what happens? Wheel within wheel. The energy of the circular nature of the universe moves out toward infinity. So when we place that, we feel the energy of the circles moving outward toward infinity, we realize that everything that we do affects everything else across the world. And I love, about the butterfly effect, flaps its little wings, and they're feeling it in China, because everything is so intimately connected. So today, as we make a joyful noise, in other words, remember that the throat is the power center. That which we utter becomes the outer. Thoughts are things and words are molds, that Ernest Holmes said so many years ago, but it's the truth. Thoughts are things. And through that thought energy, it moves out into our reality. Words are molds. That which I utter becomes the outer expression of my life. And so I stand porter at the gate of my conscious mind, as Mary Baker Eddy said. And as I stand porter at the gate of my conscious mind, allowing those things to come forth that are going to forward and advance myself, others, and ultimately the planet. Each and every one of us, we're an integral part of the planet. And that as we lift our own vibrational frequency, others in the energy field are healed and uplifted in our presence. This is how the law of circulation works. This is a cause and effect relationship. As within, so without. And so on this glorious day, when we look at the spirit of joy and the recognition that someone can see in their mind's eye lakes and swans and beautiful flowers of every color and every species, and all the little insects and everything that is going on the planet, and they can impart that. So those in the energy field are healed and uplifted in his presence. And when we understand at such a deep, deep level that we are here to make a difference, not just to make a living, to make a difference. And that difference is the energy that we're putting out in the universal collective consciousness of the planet. So we each have a job to do. And as we do our sacred assignment, others are healed, uplifted, and benefited by what we are putting into that universal mind. So on this day, as I greet you with profound respect and esteem, and I acknowledge that we are all on this path, and it is a spiral path. And remember, the prophet stated it, that life goes not backward nor tarries with yesterday. Life is the forward progression of the soul. The forward progression of the soul. And as Martin Luther King said, that, hate will never drive out hate. Only love can do that. And he said the darkness will never drive out the darkness. Only the light can do that. So each and every one of us, we are a light bearer. And we bring this light to ourselves, others, the planet. And everyone is enlightened through that energy field. We're all going somewhere. Do you know where it is? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us. We are in a high place. We will not come down. So I say to you, namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you. I say shalom, the peace that passes all understanding in this beautiful Temple Isaiah, the Lieberman Chapel. And with Tiny Tim, God bless us, everyone. Thank you, I love you, and we are going higher yet.